Toronto was already buzzing with anticipation as BTS prepared to take over ROGERS Stadium for the first Canadian stop of the ARIRANG World Tour. And before the official concert even began, JUNGKOOK had already become one of the biggest talking points among ARMY. BTS are scheduled to perform at ROGERS Stadium in Toronto on August 22nd and August 23rd, with both shows beginning at 8 p.m. But the real excitement began long before the opening performance. As fans gathered around the stadium and VIP attendees prepared for Soundcheck, expectations were already reaching another level. The atmosphere inside and around ROGERS Stadium reportedly felt completely different the moment BTS began preparing for the first night. For many fans, Soundcheck is more than simply a technical rehearsal. It is one of the rare moments when ARMY can see the members in a more relaxed setting before the massive production begins, and that is exactly why every movement, outfit, interaction, and unexpected moment can quickly become a major topic online. And among all the members, JUNGKOOK once again attracted enormous attention. The youngest member of BTS has repeatedly generated viral reactions during the ARIRANG World Tour, particularly during soundchecks and rehearsals, where fans have been able to see a different side of his stage presence. As the first day preparations at ROGERS Stadium unfolded, anticipation grew even stronger. Fans outside the venue were already sharing their excitement, while inside, the stadium was gradually transforming into a massive BTS concert environment. The giant stage, lighting equipment, screens, and production structures created a clear reminder that this was not an ordinary performance. This was another major chapter of the ARIRANG World Tour. The official tour schedule confirms Toronto as the next major North American stop after BTS performed at AT&T Stadium in Arlington on August 15th and 16th. And then came a moment ARMY had been waiting for: Soundcheck. When JUNGKOOK appeared on stage with the other members, the atmosphere immediately intensified. Even though Soundcheck is technically part of the preparation process, BTS have a reputation for turning these moments into memorable fan experiences. JUNGKOOK in particular seemed to command attention simply by walking onto the stage. Fans reacted to his appearance, his energy, and the way he moved around the stage, with clips and fan reactions quickly becoming the center of attention. What made the moment especially interesting was the contrast between the enormous scale of the ROGERS Stadium production and the more relaxed atmosphere of Soundcheck. Instead of the dramatic lighting and carefully choreographed spectacle of the main concert, fans could see BTS interacting more naturally while checking the stage and preparing for the evening performance. JUNGKOOK's presence added another layer of excitement because ARMY had been closely following his performances throughout the North American leg of the tour. From New Jersey to Massachusetts, Baltimore and Texas, every appearance has generated fresh conversations among fans. Now, Toronto was ready for its own JUNGKOOK moment. The excitement surrounding ROGERS Stadium was also understandable because this was BTS's first of 2 consecutive Toronto performances. Live Nation lists the Toronto shows for August 22nd and 23rd, both at ROGERS Stadium, while Ticketmaster Canada also confirms the 2-night run. That meant the first day Soundcheck carried a special significance. It was the first opportunity for Toronto ARMY to experience the ARIRANG atmosphere from inside the venue. And when JUNGKOOK stepped into that environment, the reaction was immediate. Fans screamed, cameras went up, and social media began filling with reactions. For viewers who were not there, the anticipation itself became part of the story. What was JUNGKOOK doing? What was he wearing? How was he interacting with the other members? And most importantly, what would happen once the actual concert began? These questions helped turn a routine pre-show rehearsal into a major fan event. One of the most fascinating elements of BTS soundchecks is the way the members can shift between professional performers and playful personalities within seconds. During the main concert, every second is carefully designed, but during soundcheck, there's often more freedom for spontaneous interactions. That is why ARMY pays such close attention to even the smallest moments. A smile, a gesture, a dance move, or a brief interaction can become a viral clip within minutes. JUNGKOOK has become particularly famous for this kind of spontaneous energy. His ability to switch effortlessly between powerful performance mode and relaxed fan interaction has made him one of the most closely watched members during the tour. At ROGERS Stadium, that same energy appeared to be part of the excitement surrounding day one. And there was another reason the atmosphere felt so intense. Toronto itself was completely ready for BTS. The city had been preparing for the group's arrival, and the concert weekend was expected to bring thousands of fans together. Samsung Canada also announced a partnership connected to BTS's Toronto stop, adding another layer to the city's BTS takeover. For ARMY, however, the most important thing was simple. BTS were finally in Toronto. The Soundcheck became the first major moment of the weekend, and JUNGKOOK once again proved why his presence can instantly change the atmosphere. As the members moved through preparations, fans are watching closely for clues about the night's performance. Would there be changes to the set list? Would JUNGKOOK introduce a new dance moment? Would the members interact differently with the Toronto crowd? Those questions created an enormous sense of suspense. But perhaps the biggest surprise was how quickly the soundcheck itself became a spectacle. Instead of feeling like a quiet rehearsal, the energy around the stadium felt much closer to a pre-concert celebration. The fans were loud, the anticipation was intense, and every appearance from the members generated another wave of excitement. JUNGKOOK stood at the center of much of that attention. His stage presence has always been one of BTS's defining strengths, but during ARIRANG, fans have been particularly focused on how he has evolved as a performer. The tour has taken BTS through some of the biggest stadiums in the world, and each stop has created its own unforgettable atmosphere. Toronto was no different. The official schedule places ROGERS Stadium immediately before BTS's Chicago shows at Soldier Field on August 27th and 28th, meaning Toronto represents an important part of the continuing North American leg. For ARMY attending day one, that made the first soundcheck even more meaningful. It was the beginning of a two-night BTS takeover in the city. And as the soundcheck continued, the question everyone was asking was no longer whether Toronto would be loud. It was how loud Toronto could actually become. The answer appeared to be clear almost immediately. Every time JUNGKOOK moved toward the front of the stage, fans responded. Every time he interacted with the audience, the atmosphere intensified. And when BTS performed portions of their material during the rehearsal, the stadium began to feel less like an empty venue waiting for a concert and more like a fully activated BTS world. This is one of the unique characteristics of the ARIRANG World Tour. The production is enormous, but the emotional connection between BTS and ARMY remains at the heart of the experience. Even during soundcheck, the members can make tens of thousands of people feel as if they are part of something personal. JUNGKOOK's role in that connection has become increasingly visible throughout the tour. His vocals, dancing, and ability to communicate through small gestures have consistently attracted attention, and Toronto fans were ready to experience it firsthand. But there is an important distinction between confirmed information and fan speculation. While the Toronto concerts and their dates are officially listed, individual fan-reported moments from Soundcheck can spread online very quickly, and not every viral claim should automatically be treated as confirmed fact. What can be confirmed is that BTS's first Toronto show is scheduled for August 22nd at ROGERS Stadium, followed by a second performance on August 23rd. The rest of the excitement comes from the fans who experience the atmosphere firsthand. And judging from the enormous anticipation surrounding the event, Toronto ARMY had plenty to celebrate. For JUNGKOOK, this was another opportunity to demonstrate why he remains such a powerful presence on the ARIRANG stage. Whether he was singing, dancing, smiling toward the crowd, or simply walking across the stage, fans were watching every second. That is the phenomenon of BTS Soundcheck. Nothing has to be officially planned as a viral moment for fans as the countdown to BTS's first night at ROGERS Stadium continued. The atmosphere in Toronto became almost impossible to describe. The excitement that had already built during Soundcheck was now transforming into something much bigger, because ARMY knew the real show was about to begin. Thousands of light sticks illuminated the stadium. Fans were chanting the names of the 7 members, and every camera seemed to be waiting for the same thing: the moment BTS would finally appear on stage. Then, the lights suddenly began to fade. For a few seconds, the enormous ROGERS Stadium became almost completely dark, and the crowd erupted. The opening visuals appeared across the massive screens. The music began to rise, and the anticipation reached its absolute peak. Then BTS appeared. The reaction was immediate. But once again, JUNGKOOK became one of the members attracting enormous attention. His entrance, his confidence, and the energy he brought to the stage immediately reminded fans why his performances have become some of the most discussed moments of the ARIRANG World Tour. Toronto ARMY had waited for this moment, and now the entire stadium seemed to move as one. What had started hours earlier as a soundcheck had transformed into a full-scale BTS spectacle. The difference was extraordinary. During soundcheck, fans had been able to see the members in a more relaxed environment. Now, the production was fully activated. Powerful lighting, giant screens, choreography, and live vocals combined to create the atmosphere that BTS concerts are famous for. JUNGKOOK appeared completely comfortable inside the enormous production. His movements were precise, his expressions were confident, and his connection with the audience was unmistakable. Every time the camera focused on him, another wave of screaming could be heard throughout